Hello guys, welcome back. So today we are going to build this split landing page. So this is a landing page and we have the two image PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series, and we have some text and we have some button. So as soon as I hover over it to PlayStation 5, so it will move into right direction, and which means its width got increases and Xbox Series width got decreases. Okay, so if I click on button, nothing will happen, just hover effect. And as soon as I move the mouse to Xbox Series, so this Xbox Series content will move to the left side, and its width got increases and PlayStation 5 width got decreases. Okay, so this is done in a smooth animation. So I have used the transition. So we are going to build this today. So let's get started. So this is our starter page. We will make it somewhat smaller. Okay, and we will start it from here. So if you see, we have the home.html, style.css, script.js. I have just linked the style.css and script.js with the HTML. That's it. That's it. I have done. I have done nothing. Just I have lift the link the style.css and script.js. Okay, and I'm just giving the title split landing page. So we will start from the body. So let's make a container. So let's make a container. Inside that, let's make a split class, and let's make a left class for the left image. So this div is for the left image. So inside that, what I want, I just want two things, right? We have the h1 and we should have the button. Okay, so for the left image, what I want, the text should be PlayStation 5. Okay, and then we should have the anchor tag of href, which will not go anywhere. So I want to give the class of btn, and what should be the text? Buy now, correct? Let's save it. You can see there PlayStation 5 is come. Now I want to make a similar kind of div which will be for right. So I just want to change the one class only. In place of left, it should be right, and in place of PlayStation 5, it should be Xbox Series. Okay, so we have made two div, one for left and one for right. And inside that we have some text and we have some anchor tag which is like a button. Okay, so that's it for HTML. These are the only things we need in the HTML. So let's move to style.css. So this is quite a CSS heavy project, so we will use a lot of CSS. First I want to define some color, which I will explain it later why I am using this. Okay, first I will define it. So let's give the left background color for the left image. So this background color should be for the left image. So I want to give some RGB. So 87, 84, 236. Then I want to give some 0.7. Okay, so let's just don't copy this. Then I want to make a background color for right. Okay, RGBA. For this, what I want to give some greenish type, so that's why I'm using this 43 43 43, and I want to give 0.8. Okay, this is just like a greenish one. Now I will just copy this and I will give this color for the button, for the left button. Okay, so almost similar color. In place of 0.7, I want to give some more deep color. So here, so this is for left btn. So this is for left button color. Okay, so when I hover over it to the button, So when I hover over it to the button of left side, so this will show this color. Okay, so left BTN hover color. Okay, now I want to use, let's say, just copy this, because I have to use the for the right hover button for the right part. In the right side we have some button, correct? So right BTN hover color, when we hover over to the button, it should show some color for the right side. Okay, 28, 122, 28, and I want to give some 1. Okay, something like greenish when I hover over it to the right side button, that is buy now. Okay, now I want to set some width. As we know, when we hover over it to the left page, that width got increases. So if I show you to the main project here, so as soon as I hover over to the Xbox, this width got increases up to 75%. So that is what I am defining, and other width got decreases up to 25%. When I hover over to this width got becomes this width becomes 75% and this width becomes 25%. Okay, so that is what I am defining this width when we hover over it to the width percentage. Okay, so I'm defining the width percentage. So other width should be 25%. Okay, so this hover width will use when we hover over it to the particular image, and that other width is for other image which we are not hovering over it. Okay, and I'm defining the speed for the transition. As you see, we have some transition as soon as I hover over it to this, as soon as I hover over this. Okay, so this you can define the speed, how much speed it should work. Okay, so I'm giving it 1000 millisecond, that is 1 second. Okay, so these are the variables we will use. Okay, so let's give some box sizing, border box. Okay, so this is the only things we want in the root. Now let's give some CSS for the body. Let's give the height of 100 VH. Okay, let's give overflow should be hidden. We don't want any overflow. Okay, and let's give some margin to be 0. Okay, now I want to apply some CSS over the container. Okay, so we have some container, so I want to give container as relative so that I can make this split. So I am giving this container div as a relative so that I can make this div as an absolute. Okay, so that is why I am giving this position relative. Let's give some width of 50%, not 50%, so give 100% because I want to occupy this container to be 100%. Okay, let's give the height also 100%. Let's give the background, so let's give the background of blackish color. Okay, so just save that and you will see like that. Now let's start the CSS for the split. We have a split class for these two divs. So this is a split, this is a split, so we are applying for both one. Okay, and we are separating using the left and right. So let's give the position absolute. Okay, let's give the width because I want both the divs to be taken 50% initially. Okay, so we have these two divs, we have this split div, we have this split div. I want both the div should take the place of, should take the width of 50%, half. Okay, that is why. And I want to give height of 100%, and I don't want any overflow. so it should be hidden. Okay, now let's give the CSS for the left side. Let's start the CSS for the left side. Split dot left. Okay, let's give left from 0 because I want the left image should be in the left side. Now let's start the CSS for the left part. So for the left, what I want this left from the left side, correct? So I'm giving this left 0 because I want the left image from it should come from the left side. Okay, now let's give the background of URL. Okay, so what I want, so I have this image here, these two images I will use. So I've just copied it. You can use any image. So let's just paste that, and let's give some more property of background, which I don't want background repeat. Okay, and let's give some background size of cover. Okay, so let's just save that. You can see the image there. Okay, now I want to use some pseudo selector on the left part, split left dot before. So BEFORE. Okay, so as you know, for the before selector we need content. This time I will give content empty. We have absolute not inherit. I want absolute position, and what we want, I want to give some width of 100% initially, so that is why I'm giving the it. Okay, then later we will move to 50%, height also 100%, and let's give some background color. Let's search that. So background color, I have already made one variable, as you know, left btn, not btn, left bg color, correct? So this is the variable I have made, so you can see there. Okay, now let's apply the same, almost same CSS for the right also. Okay, just copy that and paste that. Okay, so for the right, what I want, so for the right I want not from the left, I want from the right should be 0, and I want to change the background image. So as just cut this and just take the image from there, just copy that, and you can use whatever the image you want. Okay, so no repeat, background size cover. So in place of left I will use the right. Here also I will use the right. Okay, so position absolute with 100%, height 100%, and instead of left I will use right background color. Okay, now you are not seeing anything, is it? Is there any problem? We have used split right, so nothing is coming, is it? Yeah, this background image is showing. If you see here, this text is visible here. Okay, we will make it so position absolute with 100%, height 100%, background color should be a right bg color. This color is not coming. Why? What is the right bg color? So this is our right bg color, 43 and 43 0.8. Okay, this should be like that only. So let's start it from the, so we have done it for a split right and a split before also. Now let's use some transition for this one, for all this. Okay, so let's, for split left, just copy that. I want to use a transition for all. So split left, split left before, split right before. Okay, so this is our split left, and similarly this is for split right also. And if you just copy this also, split right before, just copy this, and we want split right, split left before also. Okay, so I want to apply the transition for all, that is why I'm using this. So split left, split right before, split left before. Okay, so let's give the property of transition. I want to transition in for all. Let's give the speed of the transition, that we have already made the variable for that. So speed should be whatever you want. I want to transition in some ease in odd manner. So let's give the some transition. That's it for transition. So I want to apply the transition for all this. That is why I've given. Okay. So as you can see, for each image we have h1. So let's apply the CSS for h1 also. Let's give the position to be relative, not relative, absolute. So now let's give the color of white, because as of now it's not visible. Let's give the font size of 4 rem. Let's give the left of 50%. Let's give from top to 20%. Let's give some transform, so that should come in the middle. That is why I am giving some transition to the left direction. So negative 50%. Now you can see there. Okay. I want to give some white space also, because I don't want to wrap it. Not normal, no wrap. Okay. So let's save it. Now let's apply the CSS for the button. We have button also, btn, having the class button. So of color white, and let's give the position to be not inherit. Want to give the position to be absolute. Okay, let's give the display flex. Let's give the align items also. So align item center. Let's give the justify content center. Let's give from left side should be 50%. Let's give from top to 40%. Just save that. And let's give some transform so that it should show exactly in the middle for each page. So let's apply for 50% translate in the left direction. Let's give some text decoration to none. Let's give the border of white solid of 0.2 rem, not 0 to 0.2 rem. Okay, now I want to make big, because as of now you are seeing it very small. So let's give the font size to be 1 rem, and let's give some text transform to be uppercase. Let's give some font weight. Where is font weight? It's not showing here. So I want the font weight should be bold. I want to give some width of 15 rem, and I want to give some padding of 1.5 rem. Okay, just save that, and you can see that it's look like quite better now. Let's We have the split left class, as you know, split left. I want to some apply the hover effect, so that is why. So I want to apply the hover effect over the button for the left image, so that is why I'm using the this. Okay, so I have already made a variable for that, left btn hover color. Okay, so for the left image I want to apply the some hover effect for the button, so as you can see. Okay, for the left part I want to change the border color also, so border color should be same, left btn. Okay, so now if I show you. Okay, so just copy this because we will use the almost same. This time I will use for right. Correct. Now for the button it should be right, not for the left. Okay, if you want you can do these things, otherwise if you don't want, not record at all here. So I've just given that. Okay, now this hover left, if you see we don't have any class hover left. We have not made any class like that hover left. Correct, because this class will come dynamically using the JavaScript. Okay, so what I want, if this class is there, I want to be changed the width. Correct, I want to change the width of the image of the div. Correct, so if we have hover left class, if we have over left class over the container, so first I will explain you what I want. I want this hover left and hover right in this div. In this div, okay. I want to add the class hover left and hover right dynamically in this div, so that based on that, if the hover left is there, I want to change the width of left image, and hover if hover right is there, I want to change the right width, because if we hover over it to the left image, its width should be increases and other width should be decreases. Correct, so that is why I am using this hover left and hover right will come as dynamically using the JavaScript. And if we have the hover left, it means we are hovering over to the left image. I want to increase the width of the left image, so that is why I'm giving the hover width. And what is the hover width? 75%. Okay, so that is what. And if we have the hover left class, and what I want, if we are hovering over to the left side, I have given the width 75% for the left part, and for the other part what it should be there, it should be 25%. That is I'm giving the other width. Okay, similarly for the right also, if I just copy that, so this hover left and hover right will come dynamically. If I just do that, if we are hovering over it to the right side, what I want the left should be 25%. Correct, because we are hovering over it to the right side. If we are hovering over to the right side, what I want to give the width of 75%. Okay, I hope you understand it. This hover right and hover left dynamically come using the JavaScript. At last, in the CSS, what I want to reduce the size of this button and this h1 text, in case if we have the screen size smaller than 800 pixel. Okay, if we have the screen size of less than 800 pixel, what I want to reduce the size of the button and the h1 text. Okay, so let's reduce the font size to 2 rem, so it's not looking like smaller in the smaller screen. And I want to change the size of the button also. Okay, so I will reduce the padding and the width to 12 rem. Okay, so in the smaller screen you will see it somewhat smaller. So let's now move it to script.js, where we will add this hover left, hover right dynamically. Okay, I hope you understand the CSS. So let's make a left. So document dot query selector. Let's take the left class. We have the left class, so that is why I'm taking the left class and assigning it to the left variable. Okay, and similarly I will take the right class also. So let's take the right class because I have to add, and let's take the container because I will add the hover left. I will add this hover left and hover right in the container div only. So that is why I'm taking the container. Let's give the variable name. Okay, so what we will use here, which add event listener we will use. So if we are hovering over it to the left side, what I want to apply some add event listener. So what add event listener should be there? Mouse enter. If our mouse enter into the left part, I want to do some operations. That operation I'm defining it in the CSS. Okay, it's not give the brackets because we have just single operations. So what I want to add the class list of, I want to add the class, correct? So if I hovering over it to the left side, what I want to add the class of hover left. Okay, hover, not this one, hover left. Okay, so this is what we have done. So this hover left we have made here, correct? This hover left. So these things we are adding dynamically if our mouse enter into the left image. Okay, similarly if our mouse leave the left image, so mouse leave. Okay, if our mouse leave the left image, I want to remove this class, correct? As soon as my mouse enter into the left image, I want to add this class. As soon as my mouse leave the left part, I want to remove this class. Similarly I will do this for right. Okay, right, similar things in place. So hover left, I want to add hover right, and here I will use right. Okay, so that's it for JS also. If I go to the website, if you see here, it is showing correctly. Okay, now, so yeah, that's it for this. I hope you understand it. As soon as we click on left part, this is adding the hover left image and this is adding the hover right. Okay, and as soon as my mouse enter into the right side, it is adding the hover right class and it is removing the hover right class as soon as the mouse leave the right part. Okay,